All right, we're about to step into a city that feels like it's straight out of an ancient legend. But I want you to listen closely, because as you'll see, this isn't just some old story. Nope, it's a really powerful and kind of scary cautionary tale that holds up a mirror to the world we're all living in right now. So let me ask you this. What if there was a city where everything, and I mean everything, from a priceless diamond to a simple carrot, cost exactly 1 coin? Sounds like the ultimate paradise, doesn't it? A place where money doesn't matter, total equality. But what if that perfect equality was actually the most twisted, dangerous injustice you could ever imagine? This is where we meet our main characters, Jamal and Shamal. They're two friends, and their life is, well, it's tough. Just backbreaking work in their tiny mountain village. But then one day, they hear a rumor. A rumor about a magical-sounding place called Sheher-in-Japersan, the city of the unquestioning, where everything costs a single coin, a taka. And to them, this isn't just a rumor. It sounds like a winning lottery ticket, a real chance to finally escape and build a better life. But, they do the smart thing and ask their village elders about it. And the elders' response? It was absolutely terrifying. They warned them, flat out, that this city was a death trap, a place you go but you never come back from. But Jamal and Shamal, they were so blinded by hope, by this dream of an easy life, that they just brushed it off. I mean, they thought, hey, we're good people, we haven't wronged anyone, what could possibly happen? So after this exhausting 3-day journey, they finally arrive. And the second they lay eyes on the city, all those warnings from the elders just melted away. It was incredible. The city was buzzing with life, shops were overflowing with gorgeous clothes and shiny jewels, and the streets were just filled with light and laughter. It seriously felt like they had just walked straight into heaven. They were starving, so they pop into a little hotel. The owner greets them with this big, kind of sly grin and confirms, yup, everything costs just 1 taka. So they order a huge meal, meat, bread, salad, water. But when the bill comes, it's not for 1 taka, it's for 5. And this is where the city's twisted logic starts to show itself. The owner explains 1 taka for the meat, 1 for the bread, 1 for the water, 1 for the salad, and, get this, 1 taka for the seats they were sitting on. This was their very first taste of the city's bizarre idea of fairness. Trying to shake off that weird experience, they go looking for work. Jamal lands a pretty easy gig, just tending to a garden. Shamal, on the other hand, gets a seriously tough job, breaking massive stones under the blistering sun. It was grueling, dangerous work. But Shamal was actually happy about it, because he figured, hey, harder work means way more pay, right? Well, at the end of the month, this city's reality just came crashing down on them. Even with the huge difference in their jobs, the effort, the danger, all of it, they were both handed the exact same wage, 1 single taka. Shamal, as you can imagine, was furious. He goes to his employer and protests, arguing that his backbreaking labor obviously deserved more money. But the employer just laughed in his face. He just shrugged and hit him with the city's chilling motto. There was no room for logic, no concept of fairness, just this blind, unquestioning obedience to a rule that made 0 sense. And this right here is the moment everything changes. For Shamal, this was it, the final straw. He finally saw the city for what it really was, a place completely disconnected from reason and justice. He packed his bags and got out of there. But Jamal, well, Jamal was still hooked on that dream. He decided to stay. Okay, so some time passes, and then this absolutely bizarre case gets brought before the king. A group of robbers were trying to break into a house, but as they were climbing the wall, it collapsed and one of them died. Now, the other robbers didn't run away, oh no. They marched right up to the king and demanded justice for their fallen friend. And this is where the city's madness goes into overdrive. The king, without even thinking about it, sentences the homeowner to death. But the homeowner says, wait, it's not my fault, blame the mason who built the wall. So the king brings in the mason, who then blames the laborer who mixed the weak mortar. The laborer? He points the finger at a beautiful young woman, saying her shiny, jingling jewelry distracted him. And the woman, of course, blames the goldsmith who made the jewelry so distractingly beautiful in the first place. The king, now totally fed up with this game of hot potato, just points his finger at the goldsmith. You, he says, you're the real problem here. And just like that, he sentences the goldsmith to be hanged on the spot. Case closed. So, the gallows are ready, the crowd is gathered, everything is set for the execution. But there's a tiny problem. When the executioner puts the noose around the goldsmith's neck, it's way too big. He's just too skinny to be hanged. Justice, it seems, has hit a bit of a technical difficulty. And that's when the king says the single most horrifying thing in this whole story. He announces to everyone that his goal was never actually about justice for the robber. His goal was just to hang someone, anyone. And so he orders his guards to go search the city and find any man, guilty, innocent, it doesn't matter, whose neck is thick enough to fit the noose. The guards spread out, and it doesn't take them long to find the perfect person. A strong, healthy, well-built man working in a garden. It was Jamal. He was dragged to the gallows, screaming that he was innocent, but nobody listened. He was the right size, and in the city of the unquestioning, that was the only thing that mattered. So Jamal was executed, and the crowd actually cheered for the king's so-called justice. Now this might all sound like some dark, twisted fairy tale, but it's real power. The reason it's told over and over is because of the reflection it casts on our own world. So let's unpack this. What can we really learn from the city of the unquestioning? This story is just packed with lessons. It's a brutal look at any system where following the rules becomes more important than finding the truth. Where the guilty get off on a technicality while the innocent are trapped. It's also a stark reminder that people are ultimately responsible for the leaders they get and the broken systems they put up with. When you don't question things, you're basically giving them your approval. And of course, it's a huge shout out to listening to the wisdom of our elders. Their warnings often come from real-life experience, and that's a kind of knowledge that you just can't replace. But here's the final, gut-wrenching tragedy. When Jamal eventually came back to the city to look for his friend, he was told that Jamal had been hanged for killing a robber. The story had been completely twisted. Jamal died an innocent man, but he was remembered as a criminal, even back in his own village. His truth was totally erased by a story that made no sense. This parable has stuck around for so long because its warning is always relevant. It really forces us to look around and ask ourselves, what injustices, big or small, do we just accept every day because, well, that's just how things are done? The story of Cher and a person is a chilling reminder of the terrifying price we all pay when we as a society simply stop asking questions.